Renegades.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Nerd Rage Renegades Chief. Oh my God, this episode is epic tonight.
It's a big one, man. It's a horror double feature episode of Nerd Rage.
Horror double feature, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, horror. All right, so everybody who listens to the show knows that Chief and I are huge fans of horror films. We always have been.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, whether it's new horror, exploitation horror, whatever, we love horror. So this episode is kind of weird because we had one thing scheduled and then another thing came up, but they both worked, so we could have both of them on this episode at the same time.
Yeah, strangely, it's weird because it's almost like we've recorded 2 episodes of the show, but it's only been one. It's
only been one.
This was a cool one though, man. You don't get these people all the time, and when you can get 2 horror movie directors and crews on, it's pretty cool. So we don't get to look into that world too often. Is what I'm saying.
No, it's awesome. All right, so we were allotted a very short amount of time, 15 minutes, with the director and stars of the upcoming release film, which actually is going to be released, Chief, this Friday, because you're listening to this on Wednesday. It's going to be released this Friday. We got the director and the 2 stars of the Human Centipede 3. We've got Tom Six, Dieter Lasser, and Laurence Harvey.
And thanks to those guys, they kindly sent over the screener, so me and Spin were able to watch Human Centipede 3 before it comes out. And it's definitely a lot different than if you're used to the Human Centipede movies. It's different than the other 2 Human Centipede movies. And I don't want to spoil anything of it because it's like I'm real touchy about this stuff, man. This kind of shit I got to be worried about because you don't want to say too much about a movie when you get a screener because then we'll never get another screener ever. Yeah. If we fuck something up. So I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah. So the first thing you're going to hear is our interview with Mr. Six, Harvey, and Lasser. And then we're going to roll right into our interview with Luchagore Productions director GiGi Saul Guerrero and producer Raynor Shima. They sat with us for about 45 minutes to an hour and talked about their films and horror and just wonderful, wonderful people.
Yeah, they were cool, man.
So I don't want to take up too much time. Let's go ahead. Let's roll on into Human Centipede 3, and then immediately after that into Luchagore Productions.
Nerd Rage Renegades.
Hello.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Six, loving the film. I wanted to ask you how was making this one different than the other 2 films? Because it seemed this one was a little, the tone was different than the last 2.
Oh yeah, this is the last part of the trilogy, yeah? And everything is much larger. The Centipede is much larger. We're shooting in America with a much bigger crew. We started off pretty small in Amsterdam, and part 2 got a little bigger, and this is, of course, our biggest production. We shot much longer, and imagine creating a 500-person centipede. It's quite an effort, I think. So.
I was very surprised that Tiny Lister agreed to be the front of the centipede. That was one of the greatest parts of the film for me, was seeing this big man at the head of your centipede.
Yeah. That was quite a challenge, yeah. But he loved the first Human Centipede film, so he agreed to do it. It took some persuasion, of course, charming persuasion to get in there. He's a famous wrestler star, of course. So to see him in that position is quite a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of fascinated with the fact that all three of the films kind of take place in their own universe. In a way, the first film is they're all kind of they're all in the same kind of a genre, but they all kind of take place in their own universe in a way. The first film is kind of standalone. The second film, someone watches the first film and is influenced by it, and the third film, they all these films kind of take place in their own universe. So I'd like to ask Dieter and Laurence, what's it like to how do you change up your character? You're playing different characters in these films. How did you come about creating each character for each incarnation of the Human Centipede?
So we missed the tail end of that. Sorry.
How you decided to change your characters each time for each role you played in each movie? Is it a challenge to make it to play a psychopath and keep it different every time?
Well, the characters were different on the page. I mean, and also in the previous films, I guess Dr. Heiter and both Dr. Heiter and Martin are kind of working alone and don't have to relate to anybody else. It's more, whereas in this one, I think it's Dieter's character, Bill Boss, is kind of within this kind of framework of working with other people. So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, how different was it between Dwight and Martin? Since Martin, you were silent, you had to use your body language and your expressions to convey what you were doing, and of course Dwight talks a lot. How different was the two? Was doing that, where one it's all conveying with body language, and the other one is more script work?
Well, playing Martin was the same as playing any other part. You've still got to work out the emotional journey for each scene and what Martin's thought processes are, and there's just less lines to learn. With this one, similar setup. You approach it the same way. So.
Okay. And Dieter, how was it coming back for the third film after the first one, coming back for the third one and playing this really fantastic character in Bill Boss?
I didn't get the last sentence.
How was it playing Bill Boss?
Bill Boss, it was so well prepared, the part, and fine-tuned between Tom and me, because we had a lot of meetings to create that character together. So when we started to shoot it, I was in Abraham's lap. I felt secure, safe, and at ease. And so beautiful to work with Tom, with Sir Tom. He makes it happen that you are relaxed and really play the part. Not do the part, work the part, but play it. And that's enormous fun and joy to do that, especially to go one ballotage higher with the Bill Boss, who is the Dr. Heiter. Joseph Heiter stems from the kingdom of fascism, and Bill Boss stems of the, let's say, of the hell of the desert, out of the fire, salamander, an animal, an alien, and has nothing to do He is a creature. And that's the beauty of it for me. A creature in a normal civil surrounding. So we have an ageless evil or a creature of evil in our world of today. And I love that combination. It's a little bit like a cartoonish comic strip character, and I love to dance through that film.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I noticed that there's a lot of politicals. I wanted to ask Tom. There's a lot of political satire, it seems, in this. And I was wondering if Bill Boss was influenced in any way by real-life Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who lives down in Arizona. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a sheriff. He's actually not a warden.
Yeah, absolutely. When we wrote the script, Dieter and I talked about that guy.
Absolutely.
Amazing. He put pink underwear on his prisoners.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. And for me, there is another guy, a German designer who is very, very, very strange. And just to play such an evil, such a crazy creature, you have, as an actor, you have to give him some base for your emotions. And nobody can tell that watching the film, but I myself have to have a base. And therefore, my base was the child, Bill Boss. What he should have. What happens to a guy growing up in Schweinfurt on a pig farm, trained to cut balls out of the animals? And what did his grandfather, his German ancestors, maybe Nazi ancestors, Robert already in the film says, I will take your dead Nazi parents out of their grave and fuck them. And this child in Bill Boss gives the basis for the emotions. So because nobody is born like that, and but to come through to that beyond level, it helped so that even you think nobody can have these feelings. You always need a little bit reality in your emotions, and that helped a lot to always think about the child inside, and therefore he is sometimes gasping for air. That's the hurt child in him. Nobody can tell what it is, but it gives some spice into the characters. Therefore, he sometimes he's gasping for air. I don't speak to a stupid filmmaker.
Brilliant.
Right. Well, Arpaio definitely comes out. I definitely picked that up.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Last question.
Last question. I wanted to go to Mr. Six with the film. Of course, you being in the film as yourself, and of course, you actually. I loved how you saw what Bill Boss was doing, and of course, you had to. It was too much for you. Was that a joke? Was that a laugh at your own films, saying that this is too much even for me?
Absolutely. When I was doing a promotion for part 2, everybody said, "Why are you not in the films? You have to create a centipede." Of course, I'm not an actor. I'm just a director. Acting is a profession, and I did it as a joke. And I said, "I'm gonna be in the movies, but only if I make an asshole out of myself, because I don't take myself serious as an actor." So it works perfectly in this manner.
He did a great job.
Yes, he did. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.